When it comes to writing essays, students are turning to new intelligence software called ChatGPT. It's a computer program that can produce perfect answers or even essays to any questions within seconds. New York City has already banned that program in its schools, and now colleges are being forced to restructure some courses to prevent students from using it.
We're talking to John Warner, author of Why They Can't Write, Killing the Five-Paragraph Essay and Other Necessities, about why students are turning to programs like these and why the art of writing is in the midst of a crisis. And he joins us live this morning to discuss more. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Well, are they turning to this because they can't write, or they're just lazy?
Well, I think the introduction of this technology requires us to look at the kinds of things we ask students to do in school and whether or not they're related to things like their curiosities and their desire to learn, as opposed to just sort of performing these tasks that simulate learning. This has been a claim that I've made for years about these things, that we ask students to produce writing-related simulations rather than allowing them access to genuine, meaningful writing experiences. So when students use any technology, even before this, to cheat and do their work, they're really signaling we're not giving them something that's all that worth doing. So I'd rather see us start to question the things we ask students to do in school rather than like, oh my goodness, they're cheating on their English essay. This has always been an issue, so we should have a deeper conversation about these things.
I would think that if students know that other kids are using these in order to keep up, maybe they feel like they have to. I don't know. How do you stop it? How do you keep this from infiltrating all of the schools?
So a lot of it is putting that focus on learning as opposed to performance and the product and this thing that's going to be graded and ranked and sorted against each other. The goal of school, as far as I'm concerned, is to learn stuff. And sometimes learning is a little funky. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it goes in fits and starts. And so if we can get the focus on what are you learning, how are you learning it, what can you do now that you couldn't do before, as opposed to what was your grade?
So instead of writing an essay on the Salem witch trials, what would be a more intellectually stimulating exercise that a professor could give, if you don't live near Salem, Massachusetts, to make their experience more rewarding?
The big thing is to let students write to real-world, genuine audiences. Let them have access to the kinds of things writers in the world do. That is, try to write something interesting or persuasive or beautiful to real audiences. If we do that, they get engaged, they'll work harder, and they'll feel the stakes of their work beyond just getting a grade.
I still think there's going to be kids, even if this is blocked in all the schools, there's going to be, if they have this at home and you're writing, you have homework in every class and you want to do a shortcut, how do you keep that from happening? I mean, are professors able to tell the difference between an essay written with the machine and one written by a kid?
Sure. No, the AI text has very common telltale marks that an experienced instructor can tell a difference from. But ultimately, we're not going to be able to ban these things any more that you could ban a calculator in doing math. Well, we have to be able to integrate this tech into the schools.
Well, I've read that some professors are asking them to do a rough draft while they're sitting in class. Nevertheless, in the short term, it is cheating. So why not just expel them? Wouldn't that discourage them from doing that?
Well, an expelled student can't learn anything.
No, but it might send a message to maybe all the others won't be doing the same exact thing.
I think what you get in there is an arms race where we're just making students more clever at evading the detection. Sort of surveillance and punishment is not really a great atmosphere in which to dig in and try to learn things that are important for the present and the future.
Well, as if being a teacher isn't challenging enough, right? Yeah. Another thing to worry about. Well, the book is called Why They Can't Write, Killing the Five-Paragraph Essay and Other Necessities. It's available now. You can also follow John on Twitter. John, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, John.
Thanks for having me.